that kind of surprised you or stood out that maybe you weren't expecting with kind of like with the addition of the Slack group, or what these conversations have led to?
Yeah, super interesting question. I mean, I think with the Slack group and the moving digitally, one of the really cool things that the community did was come together to provide comments on a rate proceeding in Connecticut. So actually there was, something on like storage and microgrids and a whole bunch of different topics. And we decided to, sort of get people together and co-write these comments, and the community sort
Get
of
wonky with it.
yeah, I mean, this is what the community really is focused on, right? Is like bringing really smart people in a room who can talk about things. I've learned so much around other areas of the industry that I don't work in, from having access to these people. But yeah, I mean, it started off because it was fun, and we're doing it because it's still fun. And I think to your point, when I've been out to the West Coast and I like go to parties back when parties were a thing, I feel like half the people you'd meet just happen to work in energy. That doesn't happen as much in New York. So I think when we started it too, it was like, it is hard to find energy people in New York. And now that we're, global community, it's different, but.
Well, and that's great to hear. And that is kind of interesting how it started with a small area and it's just expanded. And I mean, that's how I came across it, was actually talking to some other people who were on the West Coast, and they had mentioned they had recently came across, and then now I'm talking with you. Obviously,
one thing I just throw in there about that regulatory comment we put together is like, what I think is kind of interesting about it is, we're not a corporation with a stake in that process, and nor are we sponsored by any corporation. So it's really this kind of like open source democratic thing that happened, and it was pretty cool. Like for like 3 weeks, like twice a week, a subgroup got on a Zoom and just like argued until we came up with what we felt was like a good comment for how this storage program should work in Connecticut. And then generally,
that's great to hear.
I'd also just throw out like the other cool outcome of having to transition, post-COVID was just like the breadth of geographical participation we get now is awesome. So like we did this little fundraiser where we sold these sweatshirts that say microgrids are dope on them. And we sold a bunch in the US, but like we also sent one to like the northernmost tip of Canada. We sent one to South Africa. Like it's been pretty cool to like get people from all over the place involved. And it turns out like you kind of learn a lot by having like there's like different DER challenges all over the place. There's this one guy who always joins who's in a pretty rural area of Canada. And so for him, like microgrids are about like energy access and reliability. There's this guy I mentioned in South Africa who joins, and like for him, it's about like, we have a kind of corrupt utility that's like pure coal, right? And then for us in New York, it's like a wholly different thing, which is like, no, like things are pretty good here, and we're just like trying to tweak around the edges and do cool stuff. So it's, I don't know, that has been really, really awesome to have it not be a New York centric group. And I think it'll be interesting if post-COVID ever happens, how we, get the benefits of, in-person hangs, like get beers back, but also, keep this like really cool thing that's come out of this, which is just like a ton of different perspectives.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to visit our website, connectingthegrid.com. There you can listen to our podcasts, contact us about sponsorship, or even be a guest on Grid Connections. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a positive rating on your favorite podcast or video streaming service. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out a lot too. Thank you again, and I look forward to us learning more together soon.